What is up, YouTube world? Eric here with Expire Music Writer YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you already haven't. Please share, like, comment, dislike, suggest. I do album reviews, talk about music, a little bit of everything, do comedy, help out smaller bands, try to get them popular. I know I'm just one man, but I think every band that I've helped out has actually appreciated it, so I think I'm doing something good. I listen to a little bit of everything. I mean, everything. Every type of genre, except for maybe dance music. I don't know. But this video is going to be a short video on why I don't listen to the radio. And when I say that, I mean XM, I mean FM, AM, whether it be a country station, classic rock station, whatever. I just don't care for the radio. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why. One, there's too many damn commercials. I don't like commercials. When I'm actually in a music mood, which I am 99% of the time, I don't want to be interrupted with commercials. I just don't like them. I know that's how they get paid, but I just don't like them. Another reason is they play about I think anywhere from 500 to 1,000 song catalog. And I know that seems like a lot, but to me, every radio station that I've ever listened to, like I said, whether it's XM, FM, not very much AM, but still, they play about 50 songs in rotation, and no matter, like I said, if it's a classic rock station, a pop station, old country station, today's country, whatever, they play the biggest hits. And, which is awesome, but to me, there's more stuff out there than just the hits that made a big deal. There are some very unearthed gems on records, CDs. Y'all remember CDs back in the 90s, early 2000s? Just stuff. Now it's all digital. I mean, you can get anything digital. I don't think I've bought a CD, I couldn't tell you how long, which kind of sucked. I did have it took me forever to transition from CDs and cassette tapes to digital, because I have a big record, or not record, well, I got a big record collection too, but I also have a massive CD collection. When I was a kid, I can't remember, I think the first two CDs I ever was gifted, like at Christmas or birthday or whatever, was it was Leonard Skinner's Greatest Hits, and then Bob Seger's Greatest Hits, and I think a few country albums like the Dixie Chicks, Mark Chesnutt, I think, was in there, Tracy Byrd, Hanson, Britney Spears, Creed, Toby Keith, I think I had a few of his, Garth Brooks. I grew up mainly on classic rock, and what I consider classic rock is pretty much late 60s to early 80s. From like Led Zeppelin to Tom Petty. That whole, and today's country, which today's country's a lot different, but it had been 80s and 90s country back then. Late 80s, very late 80s. But that's another reason why is I just don't, they play the same 30, 40 songs in rotation, unless you're on a today's country station or today's any station, pop, whatever, and there's a big hit, that comes out. But like I said, you don't get any of these unearthed unearthed gems, because they had B-sides back in the day, on records, and there were some good B-sides, and even sometimes the B-sides would be better than what they were promoting, and like I said, that's way before my time, but I do a lot of research on stuff like that. Another one is, let me see, is like, and it kind of goes with what I just talked about. Like, they don't play hardly nothing new. And what I mean by that, especially you get, like the classic stations, classic country, or classic rock, or whatever. And if I've noticed this too, especially, there's one station, and I'm not going to mention it, because I am dogging them, but I'm not trying to. If you get my drift. Because, they will play the same 50 songs in rotation, which I talked about, but there is nothing new, or like they don't play B-sides, or just like say, hey, this was a song that from Leonard Skinner's last album, from the original members in 1977, that never made it to radio, but it's a really good song. But they don't do that. It's just the greatest hits, top tens. And I understand why they do it, but I am so different than most people. Like, I'll go out to a bar, and I do all the time, and it's mainly country and rock and blues is what I listen to. If it's a cover band, or not a cover band, but a local band, or Red Dirt or whatever. But if they're playing covers, it's that type of music, and now I forgot where I was going somewhere with that. But I'm the only very few that if I go to a show and I hear 4 songs they've never played before, I'm going to record them and put them up on my YouTube channel just to help them out and get it out there. And I've met many people that I wish they just played their old stuff. But if it wasn't new, it wouldn't get old. You know what I'm saying? You got to have new stuff to make it old. I'll tell you a story real quick. When was it 2010, I think, was when Ragweed broke up with 2010. Or 2015, I can't remember. Anyways, whenever they broke up, I was kind of worried because I was like, man, I love Cody Canada. And he's one of the main reasons why I started writing songs. Is because of Cody Canada and him not giving a fuck what people think. And we're going to do our music the way we want to. Fuck the industry, pretty much. But they played when it was first Cody Canada and The Departed. They did not play any Ragweed songs, which I didn't care much for that. Because, you are from Ragweed. He does now, or they do now. Him, Jeremy, and Eric Hansen. But, I'm like, really? But at first, I did like it. I did like it. Because they had I don't think I know it's not on iTunes. But it was, This Is Indian Land. And it was all songs by other songwriters. But the mainstream, like people like us, had never heard of them because it wasn't popular music except for in Oklahoma. It was all Oklahoma musicians, and I went to a show, I think it was a Sound Room at the time. It's a Majestic now on Fort Smith on Rogers, or Garrison, on Garrison. And they played, every song they played was a cover of Oklahoma songwriters, whether it be Randy Crouch, oh, the other guy. There were so many. Kevin Welch, I think, was on there, and or they put that. But there were so many covers that they did that nobody knew. But that's what influenced them. And but I loved it because it gave me more people to look up. Tom Skinner, check him out. He rest in peace, Tom. He died a few years ago. I'm trying to think of some other ones. It's been a while since there was a guy named Greg. I can't think of it. But anyways, what I'm saying is, I love the hits or the popular songs, but I also like them to throw in stuff I've never heard of either. And that's what I love about a lot of the Red Dirt bands or independent bands. They'll play all these their favorites because they're not really hits, but they're crowd favorites, and then they'll play something new or cover something. But and the funny thing is too, I almost thought about going to college to be a DJ or a radio personality, but I did some studying, and there are so many freaking rules you got to follow that it was bullshit, in my opinion. Because you can only play so many songs. You can only play so many genre of a song. You can only play so many songs in an hour, which hits the commercials. And just a bunch of bullshit, because I got to thinking one time, if I had my own radio station, and this kind of goes into another video that I was going to do, but we'll just make it this one. I would have different genres for every day. And I'd have, say, Monday would be Red Dirt, new Red Dirt artist. Tuesday would be Throwback Thursday and rock history, where you'd play Alice Cooper and all that stuff, and Leonard Skinner and Led Zeppelin, Bob Seger, all that. Then I'd play some Graham Parsons. A lot of people don't know who the fuck that guy is, but he's responsible for the country rock genre. He was the first guy that ever merged the two. And I know I've had a few people say, well, if he didn't do it, someone else would. Yes, but he is an innovator and the first guy to do it. Because he was a guy that saw potential in country music when there really wasn't a market for country music for the young kids. I can't think of what was it Pamela D. I can't think of what her name is, but she was in an old rock group from like the 60s. And she'd seen the Flying Burrito Brothers a lot. And, he goes, we didn't know who the hell George Jones and Merle Haggard and all, Waylon Jennings, Buck Owen, because they thought it was for old fogies, And a lot of people, think that too, But he opened up people's eyes going, no, country could be so much more. He also dabbled in bluegrass, blues, and country, a little bit of rock. And, I think he is responsible for the whole country rock. And I say this with, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I know people probably get pissed about this statement, but to me, you would not have the Eagles, original Eagles, if you did not have Graham Parsons. And before you bash me on social media, YouTube, whatever, go look up what I'm talking about. Because you won't understand what I'm talking about. And like I said before, there would have been somebody else that came along, maybe not. Eagles might have been without Graham, but just look up Graham Parsons. But anyways, back to my radio station. I'd have a heavy metal day or heavy metal hour, and statistics on, on this day in 1983, blah, 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 whatever, a hair metal hour or whatever, So that's just my deal. And I know I'm just rambling now, especially me drinking. And I'm hiccuping, so. Anyway, that's my deal on radio stations, and I will see y'all later.